Thank you all so much. We are here today a piece of legislation that has been introduced and had a committee hearing today. That is Senate Bill 666. Of the Stoddard County prosecutor would legalize murder. Groups are opposing, and today we've got several. I would like to get started with a prayer and Maharat Rory.
Good morning, and we are grateful to God for our ability to speak to Senate Bill. I said earlier, the bill's title. Hearing this morning, perspective about the nature of that bill. Before I came here, and I'm grateful that I did come. I noticed this phrase that has been tossed around, white privilege, the judicial system, those who is be shared, continue to bless the efforts of God to let our Lord and our Savior that we ask Him.
Good morning. I'm Maharat Rory Pickernese. I serve as the Executive Director of the Jewish Community Relations. And I'm here on behalf of our entire St. Louis Jewish community to stand in story in the Exodus. They the Israelites to put blood on the door of the final plague before they're ultimately going to be redeemed. They say, why is it that they have to already knows how to distinguish between people? And before that the Israelites are not. The rabbis teach, they say that once the destroyer can no longer distinguish. And that's what's carrying about this bill, that once permission is given for destruction, guilty and innocent, that is what this bill is trying to do. When it becomes impossible to know against fear of defending themselves, it is putting more, it is requiring us to no longer. And innocent people are going to. And I know that some of the supporters of this bill do it in the name of, but they cannot be supporting life if it is at the expense of other lives. We pray for the life of every person who is created in the image of God. Live safely and securely, but most importantly, to be able to live. Thank you.
On a place of hope. Members, Senator Brian Williams.
I have to say that it's probably one of the most offensive. Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, countless other black men. In self-defense. Now, thankfully in Georgia, those black men, we don't often get the benefit of the doubt. And my point is that bills like this one that put guns on public transportation, that include ridiculous ideas that's a direct attack on our state, we can debate the intent of the bill. But what is not up for debate is that encouraging people to use guns to resolve conflict is the best approach. That's not up for debate. So I'm going to work tirelessly to be in opposition to this bill. To think that the bill handler thought it was appropriate to bring a U.S. Senate candidate to use it as a platform to promote himself at the expense of one of the most draconian policies in the Missouri Senate. I repeat, and I stand firmly, racist, discriminatory pieces of legislation that I've ever seen in my life. And be strongly opposed to this bill. I'm grateful for our partners, whether it's clergy, leaders like the ACLU, NAACP, Promo, JCRC. I'm grateful to have you all standing with me. And again, we have to do everything we can to oppose this bill. of Senate Bill 666. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Who, as an attorney and a former prosecutor,
today, the Senate Committee on Transportation, Infrastructure, and Public Safety continued our state's long race to the bottom when they heard Senate Bill 6. During my time as a prosecutor, I know who was wrongfully convicted, who would have been kept in prison by the violent criminals, who would have been shielded from prosecution by this bill and would have walked free. Effectively legalizes murder under the ruse of protecting sex. After months of Missouri once again being the focus of negative national year, which resulted in defunding police departments and handcuffing prosecutors, we should be working to give police and prosecutors the necessary tools to catch and convict. But instead, this legislation makes it easier to take. But there's hope. Today in committee, the only supporters of this legislation were prosecutors and police all testify the voices and proceed prudently. We must take positive action too. My intention next week to offer the Ahmaud Arbery in the wake of Ahmaud's murder and step back from the dangerous partisan hatred. And with that, I call on the party to co-sign the Ahmaud Arbery Act and call on the police and faith leaders who spoke today against Senate Bill 666. Senator Burleson's legislation seeks to divide us. We must, with one voice, not just stop this legislation, but show what we do support, and we must support each other.
thank you, Senator Roberts. And I know that you two need to go. That's why. Next, State Conference of the NAACP President.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm Nimrod Chappell. I'm president of the Missouri State Conference of the duty to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 6. This bill, and not just because of its ominous name, it's guaranteeing that not just urban families, but rural families, this tremendous and traumatic legislation. We called on the committee and I pray that they don't. I'm astonished that any legislation that would turn on its head the duty that we hold sacred for our politicians, our elected officials, to hold the needs of the people, to keep the people safe, to turn that would ever hear the light of day, let alone be introduced. But I understand that we do live in a democracy, and but I think that the idea that we would have citizens literally kill is what made us name the bill the Shoot First bill. It's a horrible in the state. I look back at all the other travesties that have occurred. Long history going back before it was case, the senseless Jim Crow, 60 lynchings, murders like Justin King, Durante Martin, Tory Sanders, that still Senate Bill 666 the prosecution of not just those cases, because those have already occurred, but so many more. We're calling for justice for all citizens. No more second. No more laws hiding in the legislature as apparent, good common sense legislation, when we know, in fact, it's not just a disparate impact, but they will be used to decimate entire generations. On behalf of the NAACP, we oppose Senate Bill 666.
Thank you for that. And we were very honored to have testify against this bill. I don't know if you want to say it at all, but wanted to acknowledge that they are here today with us. This bill would not just allow the happen, but make it so that it would happen in our state.
John King, and I'm the father of Justin King. We firmly oppose, and it hasn't even been created yet. Our son was murdered on November the 3rd at the guy's, and all of his neighbors came out and said it wasn't self-defense, it was cold-blooded murder. However, a coroner's inquest and wouldn't allow us to bring video cameras, phones, allowing premeditated murders to what we did on November the 3rd. So we just heard about this bill yesterday because we wanted to voice our thoughts about it. And as we continue in pajamas, trying to help their neighbors lose their lives, you must 666 in the trash can where it belongs. Eva?
Sorry, I'm being short. My name is Eva Bruns. In America, I'm 33 years and I'm U.S. citizens. And I'm standing right here to use my son's voice. And I'm proud to be saying my son is an amazing son. To homicide, testified to get that case, that being homicide. And you can look it up for us information of my son in the community. He's not a threat for the community. And they're trying to give a good future for his only daughter, that now, that is head pain, behind pain right now. The 666, I don't have no idea, that I know to need, to any more family losing their loved ones. For everyone, community in Missouri, like I said, whoever Eric Corbin, and he has to belong to jail. Now you need to get my son a justice. And I would like to thank anybody from behind this supporting us, for our lovely Senate to hear us. So this is what I'm praying to God. That's all I will. Not only for Justin, for everyone, to all innocent. Begging for mercy. I'm not begging for sympathy. I'm begging for justice. For everyone innocent that got killed for no reason. And accuse him seems like the Eric Barber is innocent. The son. He killed my son for no mercy, for no reason to take lives. For someone we love, that we're missing him. And he's a good son. And I really miss him so much. And I know he's healing us right now. And I know that he's proud of us to be the parents, to fight for his justice. Please listen to us. Listen to the whole community fighting for this. Thank you so much.
thank you for sharing your story with us. I know there's a child. I'd like to close today with Reverend Darrell, positioned Executive Director of Missouri Faith Voices.
I think it is appropriate to speak behind. Yes, someone takes. Yes, they should be, as Reverend Duvall said, give an account. Why did you feel threatened? As an African American for us in this country, it's definitely attacks upon our body. We talked about the attacks on people. These things are real. And so to people's misconceptions, to give license to to give license to people's biases, and to not hold people account, it's just not. Missouri Faith Voices. We're here, Missionary Baptist, from the Methodist community, and we're here representing people who may not be of any particular faith, saying that human life is sacred. And anytime you take it, you must give an account. Period. Period. Period.
Thank you, Reverend, and thank you all for coming. Thank you all, and please have a lovely day. Again, this is Senate Bill 666. It will get heard in a committee this year. We are